is Nikki Nelson Hicks, and I'm an indie author. And today we're going to talk about world building and a few questions that Joe's asked me to answer about my take on how to build a world. In these questions, I'm going to pretty much allude to 3 different books that I have created. There's the Jake Ishton-Hedgie series. I did a lot of world building in this. I will be referencing The Revenge of the Blood Red Mage, which is a kind of a steampunk Victorian kind of thing, as well as Rumble, which is more of an action-adventure thing that takes place in the Gobi Desert. But I think all 3 of these are really good places for me to pull ideas on how I create worlds, because these are 3 different kinds of situations and scenarios. Okay.
When sitting down to visualize your world, what are the first things you tend to see most clearly?
When I sit down to visualize or to create a new setting, a new story, a new world, basically what I need to know is the time place. Like, for instance, the Jake Ishton-Hedgie stories take place in 1930s New Orleans. The Blood Red Maid takes place in a alternate Victorian England steampunky kind of age, and Rumble takes place in the now, or maybe even a little bit in the future, but not too much in the future, now in the Gobi Desert. So I need to know the time so that I can know the flavor, the kind of words people use. Since all of my stories pretty much take place here on Earth, and with humans, I don't have to worry too much about creating new languages or anything. But that's what I need to know. First of all, the time. Secondly, I need to know the people who are inhabiting that place, the socio-political, economic things going on, so that I can use that for drama and for plot points. That's basically the 2 things I really need to know when I'm creating my worlds, because again, my worlds take place here. They're kind of based in a lot in reality. I'm not Tolkien. I have not taken on the job of creating an entire species or entire world with their own politics and their own languages. I never want to do something like that. That just sounds like a lifelong kind of pursuit, and I don't have the time or energy for that kind of stuff.
How do you like to introduce the elements of your world? In a narration, explaining everything right up front, through unspoken action sprinkled throughout, through dialogue with your characters speaking to one another, or monologues where your characters break the 4th wall and address your audience directly or talk to themselves, or a combo of these things, or something else entirely?
The way that I like to introduce ideas or elements of the different worlds is I like to sprinkle it through. I'm not much for info dumps. For the Jake Ishton-Hedgie series, a lot of it comes from dialogue. For the Red Blood Maid, that's a lot of setting. Because a lot of it deals with a steampunk, which deals with setting. You've got to see the things that are happening. So that has a lot of setting involved in that. So I kind of introduce you to where we're going, where we're at in kind of the tone of the story through the setting. And in Rumble, it's really a lot through dialogue. A lot of my guys, there is a little bit of info dump. I hate info dumps, but I have these little mini dumps where, because the bad guy is going through like the files of these particular heroes, and that's how you get to know who they are. Boom, 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 boom. It's very quick, it's very fast, and it moves on with our lives, because this is an action-adventure story, and we need to keep going. So that's what I like to do. I'm very much just sprinkle it through and try to avoid info dumps. That's just me as a reader. I despise info dumps. My eyes they pretty much glaze over, and I just hop down the end of the page. And I might forget. I might see something really, really vitally important to the story, but I don't care. I'm bored. I can't read it. I just don't have the time or the energy for it.
When it comes to world building, what element do you feel is the most superfluous more times than not?
What element do I feel is most superfluous? Ugh, that's a really hard question, because quite frankly, when you're building a world, everything should be a brick, should be a block that builds upon it. It's like a wall, and everything should be important. But as for me, as a reader, superfluous things for me when I'm reading a story are my eyes just completely just glaze over, and I just roll down the end of the page. Clothing. I get bored. Tell me what they're wearing. Boom, boom, boom. I don't want to go into the history of the clothing. I don't want the thread count. Don't give a damn. But that's just me. I don't care about clothes. I'm not a clothes horse. Um, and so I guess most for me, unless the clothing isn't somehow really important, you gotta know all about these clothes. Don't bore me with clothes. I don't care. Just tell me. Boom, 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 and they move on with their life. Now, on top of that, however, as an addendum, Magic Gishinheji stuff, whenever I mention Mama Effie, I instantly tell you what she's wearing. Again, I do it maybe in 3 sentences, but it's very important to her character for you to know that this woman is always on top. She is always ready for action, and she's always, nothing ever gets on Mama Effie. So, hate to sound like I'm being kind of two-faced there, but unless it's really, really vitally important to the character, don't bore me with clothes. I just don't care. And it's just me. It may just be me.
Where do you find most artists go wrong when it comes to world building?
Where do I feel that artists kind of go wrong with world building? That's kind of hard too. But the first thing that comes to my mind is Star Trek. This is the first Star Trek, the early Star Trek. I'm not a big fan of utopian societies. I don't like it. My biggest problem with Star Trek as a series, again, the early stuff, the first stuff, even the Next Generation, quite frankly, everybody in it is so self actualized. So they know exactly what they want in their lives and they go for it. There's nobody except that one guy, Barclay, or whatever his name was, that one guy in all of the Star Trek universe who had some kind of doubt as to what he wanted. So yes, for me, a place that can go wrong is if you're focusing too much on the people who have all their shit together, all the chosen ones, all the pretty, pretty peoples, and not your average guy out there who's just trying to make ends meet. The janitors, the scrub brushes, just the people who are just trying to make things go. Because it bothers me. It bothers me a lot. I find a lot of really cool stories in the underbelly, but that's just me.
In thinking about your world expanding, is your approach to add in things you've already created outside of the story you are telling, or creating something from scratch, brand new, to add into and build upon the world that already exists?
I'm a very organic writer. I need to know a beginning, need to know the end, and the middle bit, I just let that grow. So when I expand my worlds, like for instance with the Jake Hedgie stories, I needed to get more in depth with the Odyssey shop. I just worked with it. I let it happen, let it grow. I know that just sounds like like I'm not very helpful to anyone else, but for me, that's the way I write. I do a lot of research. I let things grow from that research, but mainly my writing is very organic and my world building is very organic. I let things grow. To me, that's where the magic of writing comes from because I want to be as entertained as I hopefully entertain you. Again, my name is Nikki Nelson Hicks. I'm an indie author. All of my work is available on Amazon in Kindle as well as paperback. So, thanks for your time. I hope I helped a little bit with the world building ideas. Again, just go out there, have fun, create all that you want to create. And just remember, man, everything's just your sandbox. You can do whatever you want. You're God. And that's the best part of this job is knowing that you are God. You can do anything. And that's where the magic really happens. So thanks. Bye.